What is going on, guys? It is Soupy here, and today I'm going to be showing you the best Apex settings to ever exist. Before we get into this, I'm going to have multiple different controller sensitivities that I will show you, and why I actually have two sensitivities, what they're used for, and stuff like that. Before we get into that, though, we're going to go start with the gameplay tab. Now, I'm not going to get too in-depth with all of this. You guys can copy what I have down. But everybody should still have, their preferred gameplay settings. And if you need to know what it is also on the right, and we'll tell you what the setting does. So if you guys just want to copy this, I'm not going to go too in-depth on any of this, onto the controller settings. So button layouts, I have it uncustomized. I just had a controller issue where I couldn't, use my RB button, and I just figured I'd just put it as my melee. And if I wanted to punch somebody, I just holster my gun and then punch somebody. But long story short, my RB button wasn't working, and I got used to this, and I just stuck with it, even with a new controller, because I've noticed I've had a bunch of panic melees when I'm in the middle of an intense gunfight. So I feel like having right click as a ping just completely stops that, and it was just super easy to get used to. So if you guys want to try this and you have paddles, this is a perfect setup. Next, you guys, this is all pretty much personal preference right here. This is probably what you want to have on, to be honest. Menu cursor speed, just whatever you feel comfortable with. And then now we get into the fun part. So this is my main sensitivity. This is the sensitivity I just feel more comfortable on and more consistent with. I run a 4-3 linear. I do not run any kind of extra ADS sense. Movement is on small, inverted look off, vibration off. Those are just mandatory. But before I get into my ALCs, this is just my main sense, because it's just so in the middle. It's not too slow, it's not too fast. It's like quite perfect. The only problem I really have on a low sense is like trying to shoot a horizon freaking flying through the sky like right in front of me. Now it's different if she's over there, just because it's a whole lot easier, but if there's like a horizon right here and I'm like ADSing, it's like this is not going to catch somebody going up a thing right in front of me. It is not as fast as my ALCs. It does take a little bit for me to turn around and stuff like that and start flicking on people. Haven't really had a problem with it, but you can definitely tell the difference between senses. Now we get into my ALCs. Now before I turn this on, I just want everyone to know that I have been told that my ALCs are pretty much the same exact settings as Ecstasy, which is a movement controller player. I haven't really watched much of him. I just know of him because somebody said my settings were exactly like his. And so the dead zone is at 3%. These are my exact settings I used to run on console right here, but I turned down my dead zone just to have a little bit more drift and more responsiveness. And then I turned this down. It was on 3 because I had Jen Burton settings for the longest time. And then I just wanted a really fast ADS. So my ADS is 170, and my yaw and pitch are just 500 by 500. I do not have any ADS sensitivities. Server shutting down. I'm gonna cry. Love you, Apex. So before we were so rudely interrupted, the settings I have on now are my ALCs, which are my movement settings, my super fast movement. I personally think my dead zone could go up just a notch to like 4, just because it does drift quite a lot. I really have to focus to get it to stay still much. This is really good with my wingman. My wingman just hits so much better on my high sense. I can get the little minor adjustments, the flicks down. I'm not saying you should copy my exact settings. I'm not saying you should ever copy anybody's exact settings. But it does give you a bit of an idea. But yeah, so this is pretty much what I do, is I come in the range, I practice. This is my super fast sense. My main sense is actually 4-3 linear, so we'll get into that. I do recommend 4-3 linear if you are on console over the fast sense, just because the frames, it's really hard to keep up with that super fast sense, I've noticed. So if you are on console, keep that in mind, that this may not feel the way I'm feeling it on PC. But other than that, I hope this works. I know we can get into my video settings. Everything else is pretty much just personal preference. I do run up max brightness, and then you guys can copy my video settings. So that's pretty much it. That's my settings. You guys can copy. You guys can have a little starting point at least, and hopefully that works. I do plan on uploading a whole lot more, so I am sorry for the inactivity over the years, but we are coming back to YouTube, and I do plan on streaming a lot more on Twitch and uploading a lot to TikTok and stuff like that, so stay tuned for that 100%. And thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.